Welcome to the On List. Today I have a different kind of episode. Lately I've been focusing on individual fragrances, genres of fragrances, particular notes, discussions, very, very topical, dry stuff, right? So this episode is going to shine the mirror back on the fragrance community, just like I did with my video about tastemakers versus gatekeepers, like I did about influencers, the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is going to be another, hey, this is what you look like, or this is what you sound like, another one of those videos. So some of you might find it cringy because you don't like it when I talk about the community, and obviously I am not free from criticism myself. I do not live in a glass house, so I'm not in my glass house throwing stones. Okay, I do plenty of things wrong and say plenty of things wrong and make plenty of mistakes too. But every so often, I like doing these videos about the community because one of the things I'm big on is self-awareness. And I feel like we need to have more self-awareness in order to not only get along with each other and make friends and make a healthy, happy community, but also to enjoy the hobby itself of collecting and wearing fragrances. So this video is going to be about why. Why do we collect and enjoy fragrances as a hobby? Now, before I go into that, because the answer is I don't know. If you don't want to watch the rest of the video, you can stop right now. I just said I don't know why we collect fragrances as a hobby, but we should talk about the elephant in the room. You can't see the elephant, just a wall right here, but the imaginary elephant in the room is the person who is not watching this video, the person who is not on base notes, the person who is not on Fragrantica either, the person who is probably not on Perfume, okay? They might have an Instagram, but they're not following Perfume content creators on Instagram. They might have a TikTok, but all they're doing is watching cat videos on that TikTok, okay? We are talking about good old Johnny Q Public. So we're talking about the person who is a lifelong wearer of Drakkar Noir. We're talking about the person who goes out and buys the latest banger because they read an article in GQ or Esquire, or they went on a woman's or men's grooming website. They went somewhere like that, or it came down their Google feed because they use the Google browser instead of an actual web browser. They just click Google on their phone and they get all the spammy stuff. And that stuff gets filled with God knows what. But they're the kind of person that just wears a fragrance because it was recommended to them because, when it comes to things like perfume, they are on autopilot. They have no precognition there whatsoever. So that person needs to be acknowledged before we can talk about ourselves, because if not for that person who runs into a Macy's asking for that bottle of perfume that their sister wore, that comes in a bottle that looks like this and then makes a gesture with their finger, hey, it smells really good. I don't know what it's called, but the bottle looks kind of like this, right? And then they get shown everything that could possibly be that. And they may not even actually buy the right one. They might buy something different or get talked into something different, but they're still happy. They've got their perfume, off they go. Same thing, Joe Blow comes in, my brother Doug, he has this really good smelling cologne. I don't know what it is, but the bottle looks kind of like a trophy, And by the way, there's a reason why, off topic, but there's a reason why Paco Rabanne, there's a reason why Bogart, Lapidus, there's a reason why these really cheesy, club-related brands, Jean-Paul Gaultier is another example, okay? Carolina Herrera is also another example. There's a reason why these brands are moving towards these gaudy-looking bottles. It's a trick that Avon has been exploiting for like 70 years, okay? Avon's been doing this since like the 60s, okay? Make the bottles look really, really outlandishly tacky, but you remember them. Even if you don't know what they're called or what the brand is, you can be like, I want the one that looks like a boot. I want the one that looks like a car. I want the one that looks like a high heel. I want the one that looks like a robot because that's the one my brother has, my sister has. That's the one that she wears and it smells great and I want it. And then the salesperson goes, yes, you're talking about Good Girl, right this way. Oh yeah, you're talking about Phantom right over here. You see? But the person who does that is the unacknowledged catalyst for our existence, because they run out and they make, like I said, lifelong purchases of these fragrances. And they may only buy the same 2, 3, up to like, I think, 6 is the average. They may buy the same 6 fragrances for their whole lifetime. But they keep the lights on and the doors open so that all the lesser fragrances that don't get talked about or that get discontinued eventually, you know, the ones that we sit hunched over our computers like this and write our like 15-page reviews that we stick on Cafe Bon, you know, and we are allowed to exist because of that person. So even though we make fun of that person all the time, you know I have. We take cheap shots at them. You know, they might wear 16 sprays of Sauvage when they really only need 1. Okay? The MCM Ultra fragrance, no, I'm sorry, the men's version. MCM Onyx fragrance that I spent a whole video trashing. They might wear that too, the little backpack one. It's fine. It's fine. I can make fun of the fragrance, but I'm not going to make fun of the person wearing it. At least not in this video. I did last video. But they allow us to exist. So their reasons why doesn't matter. We don't care. We don't need to know. They can keep on buying the same bottle of whatever, you know, even if it's cheaper stuff, if they're just going to the rack and buying Kenneth Cole. Okay, Kenneth Cole is still getting that money, so it's fine. That's my point, okay? So now, that's out of the way. It took me 7 minutes to get there, all right? So pardon me there. This video might actually touch upon my max. My max is 25. I don't want to go 25. We might get kind of close here, so buckle up. If you can't watch it all in one spin, pause it. You know, whatever you got to do, use the bathroom, eat a sandwich, you know, call your girlfriend, tell her you're going to be late because you're watching my video. Whatever you want to do, it's cool. So now us nerds, us dorks, us reprehensible, you know, irrevocably twisted beyond all hope of redemption, perfume freaks with our massive collections of fragrances. Why do we do it? Okay, why? Again, I don't know. I told you before, you could stop right there and dip out, go play some Switch or something, go play Nintendo, go play Zelda, okay? But what I can tell you is I found that there are types. And I've done live streams about this. So if you really want to go into the weeds and watch a 2-hour thing of me talking, go check out my Instagram live stream where I talk about collectors versus connoisseurs and how they are sort of at opposite ends of a spectrum. So now, those binary exercises, those thought exercises, the same thing I do with, you know, overlooked or overrated. They are just thought exercises. The reality is much more kaleidoscopic in nature. It's not black and white, okay? We're not watching a 1950s horror movie where all the camera angles are like this, okay? We're not watching film noir, okay? We are living in glorious Technicolor. So the reality is not just so column A, column B, but I do those exercises because they make you think critically. They force you to put something in a category you might otherwise not ever think to put in a category, and that builds your critical thinking. And just like the self-awareness I mentioned, the critical thinking, you see, I'm teaching you guys. The critical thinking and the self-awareness go hand in hand and make you a better person, okay? They make you a better member of this community. So that collectors versus connoisseurs exercise, which I did on that live stream, was basically all about column A, column B, most of us nerds in this community. And the column A are the collectors. They're the folks who know damn well they're not going to use every single bottle of perfume they've bought. Okay? And they are willing to spend lots of money on a long discontinued fragrance or a really high-end luxury brand because they only need the one bottle, because they're collecting. okay? They only need the one bottle because it's a collection. They may wear it 6 times in their entire life, you know. Now, I'm 41 years old, turning 42 in September. I don't have as many sunsets left on planet Earth as I used to have. I probably have, if we look at life expectancy in the United States, I'm more than halfway done, okay? I'd like to see 80, I'd like to say I'm halfway through, and I'd love to see 81, 82, but I don't know, okay? So I've got this belly down here that you can't see off camera. I've already had heart palpitations and stuff from anxiety, near heart attacks and stuff. I don't know how far I'm going to go. So I'm living like tomorrow is it for me. That's how I'm living. So I'm definitely YOLO swagging it up, carpe diem, however you want to pronounce it. So with that mindset, and all the gray hair to back it up, with that mindset, you know, I mean, I'd love to be George Burns and hit 100. I really would. But again, who's to say? I might be so ornery, I might live to be 120. Like all the guys in Okinawa live to be 120 for some reason. So, furthermore, I can't really myself see the point of having a whole bunch of perfumes I'm not going to enjoy. So I am a neither nor person of collector or connoisseur because I don't see the point of having 15,000 bottles. And there are some people in this community who, yes, they do have upwards of 15,000 bottles, okay? And they have them in air-conditioned vaults, okay? They have the Osmotech going on in their house. They're also millionaires too, or billionaires, so they don't care. Money is no object to them. But they have all the rare Guerlains. They have every bottle of Caron ever made. They have all of the oldest, deepest vintage fragrances that have the original boxes, the original papers that come in the boxes, everything. And that 40-year-old bottle of cologne from the 70s that they bought brand new from the store when it came out, they've maybe sprayed or dabbed it 3 times. It's basically a new bottle, okay? That's like the ultimate end of the collector spectrum, okay? That person. On the other side is the connoisseur, you know, of this A and B column exercise. And this person has a very curated, vetted taste that they have spent maybe decades refining. Maybe they were collectors in the beginning, but then once they accumulated a few hundred fragrances and they realized that they're not going to get through all of them, they went through a process of slimming down and realizing what they enjoyed the most, what they wanted to have for the rest of whatever lifetime they have left on Earth. So then they buy the backups to make sure they don't run out of their favorite fragrances. And their collection may be narrowly defined. They may only have a few specific styles, a few specific eras of perfume. So maybe only 70s and 80s if they're vintage. Maybe only 80s and 90s if they're more millennial, Generation X, okay? Maybe only niche because they decided that their baseline is niche and then below niche is for the plebes. I don't like the elitists. I've gone on about the gatekeepers already, but I'm going to give them a pass this time because I'm trying to paint you guys in a good light, but they have that threshold, and anything below the threshold is a non-fragrance worn by a non-person, okay, whatever. But the point is very narrowly defined, and they treat their collection more like an expression of themselves. See, the collector, you look at the collector's gigantic collection, or it could be a smaller collection. You don't have to have 15,000 fragrances to be a collector, but the point is, you look at the collector's collection, and it speaks nothing of them as a person, other than that they collect perfume. Oh, I've got all the ones from this brand, and all the ones from that brand. I've got all this perfumer. I love this perfumer. I have all this stuff. You know, I have all the gray cap creeds here. I spent years getting them all. You go, okay, so you collect perfume. I get it. Coin collections, car collections, action figures, books, movies, records. Okay? Same old, same old. We get it. The connoisseur is like, well, I have a particular affinity for this one style, so everything in my collection is going to be either one of 2 or 3 flavors. So you're going to see a whole bunch of aromatic fougères of various time periods, various perfumers and price points, okay? You're going to see a whole bunch of chypres, citrus chypres, or floral chypres, or I love animalics, or I love ouds, okay? So it's a curated representation because everything in that collection reflects some aspect of the person who owns the fragrance. A certain, it touches on an emotional thing for them, or a psychological thing. It's some kind of stimulation-based, it's an experience for them. Each of those bottles represents an experience. It's not just an idle thing to collect, okay? Those people tend to get more personal. They're the ones that will attack you. Maybe not intentionally, but they will attack you if you criticize one of their fragrances that they wear, okay? They will take it personally, and the next thing, they're going for your nutsack, okay? They're trying to rip it off, okay? Turn you into a eunuch, okay? So I don't tolerate that, so when they do that, I still, backhand them like a pimp named Slipback. I still, don't talk to me like that, I still do it. But the thing is, I can understand why they have that yappy dog snap at me reaction. They're trying to bite my ankles. I get it, because they put so much of themselves in their sense of style, their sense of taste, okay? It reflects on who they are. So those perfumes are little effigies, okay? Those are little like voodoo dolls, okay? So you prick the perfume and the owner bleeds. It's like the little voodoo doll. You put the pin in the perfume bottle and he goes, ouch, that hurts, all right? I try to say not to do that. I really advise not to project yourself into your hobbies, because I used to do it. You would never know now because my hair is gone, but I used to be a metalhead. I still listen to tons of metal. I love metal. We can talk about metal somewhere else. I'll do a separate video series if you want to know about my musical tastes. But I was in the metal scene for a long time, and I got to that point where I was like, my taste in metal was who I am, right? And if you said that you didn't like this band or thought this band was crap, I wanted to knock you out. I wanted to punch you, because you were basically insulting me. It's like you were basically saying your mother to me by insulting a band. And it takes a while to undo that, guys. It's not easy to undo that, but it's healthy to not project yourself into your interests. Your interests are just part of who you are, but they don't comprise the entirety of who you are. You are so much more than the things you like. Trust me, you are. Okay, I believe you are. I believe you are much more than the things you like. So don't let the things you like define you and thus make you a bitter, angry person whenever someone says they dislike something that you like. Okay? Your first reaction shouldn't be, okay, I'm going to strangle you. I'm going to call you every name in the book, okay? I'm going to get myself blocked and reported on Facebook. It's just why? Why? Okay? All it does is make you look like a bad person. So, and I know you're not a bad person, okay? You just have some issues with the stuff that you're into, okay? Take it a little too seriously. So, now that we've talked about the collector versus connoisseur, some of us kind of sit in the middle. Like I said, we're in that gray area. I think I'm in that gray area too, because I don't believe, circling back to the beginning, I don't believe in the binary anyway. I think things are more kaleidoscopic than that. Part of me likes to collect certain brands because I like the brand, so collecting the brand is fun. I may never use everything from that brand, cough, cough, Avon, cough, But then part of me also goes, I don't want to become an episode of TLC Hoarders where I'm surrounded in bottles of perfume and I have no room to walk. I'm literally sitting on boxes of perfume while I eat my dinner and watch TV, which is also sitting on a box of perfume. Like, I don't want to live like that, okay? So I went a little too deep into the backups because, like I said, I'm also the connoisseur, so I want to have the experiences of a lifetime. So I want a lifetime supply of those experiences. So I spent too much money, and I have too many backups, and now here I am, 41 years old, staring down oblivion, knowing I don't have enough time to wear all this perfume. I have more perfume than I have time on earth to wear it. So I got to fix that problem. I don't want you to have that problem. So I'm not going to say that you shouldn't have backups. I'm just going to say that the number of backups you have should be relative to the variety of fragrances you have. So if you have only a dozen perfumes, maybe 20, Sure, have 3 or 4 backups of each one, whatever. That's a lifetime supply of perfume for you. But if you have 300, 400, 500 bottles, you don't need to have 3 or 4 of each of them. Because do that math. 400 different perfumes times 4. How many bottles of perfume is that? That's 1,600 bottles of perfume, guys. That's 1,600 bottles of perfume. Because you backed up each one of those 4 times. That's a lot of fucking perfume. Okay? So put that in perspective a little bit. Okay? Don't be the TLC Hoarders episode. So, why are you here? I've told you why I'm here. Okay? I like collecting, and I also like having experiences. I'm a little bit, you know, a little bit of a, it's like the shredded wheat commercial. I like the wheat side because it brings out this in me, and I like the frosted side because it brings out that in me, okay? And there's many other more nebulous reasons too. I like nostalgia, especially for periods where I wasn't alive. I like to smell like what I would have smelled like if I was in the 50s. I wasn't even a gleam in my daddy's eye, you know, in the 50s. So, because my dad was like 15 or 16 in the 50s. So that's not happening. You know, so I have nostalgia. I have an appreciation for history. I have an appreciation for culture of different parts of the world. So that's why I like Arabian perfumes too, in addition to French perfumes, Asian perfumes. I like having little mental vacations where I'm taken to a place in time or a place on earth through a fragrance I wear, which makes me part of the connoisseur, you know, looking for the experiences again. But then I also like to have the bottle and have the knowledge of the bottle and the history. That's the collector side of me. You know, like I said, it's not an even 50-50 split, guys. And then don't forget, there are the folks who really only care about compliments, right? Those guys. They only wear fragrances because they want everyone else to notice they're wearing fragrance. So if the fragrance doesn't paint them in a good light amongst their peers, or paint them in a good light amongst their romantic targets, then they throw the perfume away. Now, those folks are valid too, because they spend money and they keep the doors open, but I just wonder about you guys sometimes. You know, you buy the fragrances, and then you wear it for like a year, and you get halfway down the bottle, and then you ask people, is this fragrance still relevant? And if we said no, you would bin that fragrance. You would throw it away, which makes me question, okay, well, why are you spending $100 on a bottle of smelly water and then going to ask everyone, am I allowed to wear this? Is it okay to still wear this? Am I still cool? Am I still the Fonz? Because it's not 2015 anymore. It's 2023 now, so can I still wear my Sauvage? Am I still cool? You know? I don't think anyone should tell you whether you can or can't wear that, unless we're talking your employer or something. Or if you're a minor and living at home, then your parents can definitely tell you what you can and can't wear. But outside of that, you shouldn't go looking for permission, you know? They say ask for forgiveness, right? Not permission. Well, there you go. That applies to fragrances too. Ask for forgiveness. Don't ask for permission, okay? You go out and you wear that bottle of Lapidus in 85-degree heat and then have to apologize for it later. Don't ask first, okay? Go and do it. So just don't do it near me, but go do it, all right? So that wraps it up, guys. That's my video. Why are we here? I don't know. We explored a little bit of why we might potentially be here. You can definitely tell me in the comment section below why you're here. I'd love to hear from you. And this has been the Unlist. Have a good something.